record it now. Now in this tutorial what we are going to say exactly how this is going to access the contact list, right? So let me have one list view over here. In the linear layout you can have list view, right? In the linear layout let's have the list view, and you can provide some id at plus id. You can say list or simply say list contacts, and let me remove this. From here you can say match parent and the match parent over here. You can say match parent and match parent over here. Okay, so we have created the list view over here. Now into this list I want to add the contacts. What I want to do into this list, I want to add the contacts. Now see how that is going to happen. Let me have first, let me initialize the list view. Fine, we'll do that afterwards. Now exactly what is going to happen, how you are going to fetch the list over here, right? How you are going to fetch the list over here. So here what I can do is that private void fetch contacts, so I would be having this method, and see you are going to get the content resolver. First say resolver is equals to get content resolver. Can you see this thing? Get content resolver will give you the reference of content resolver, right? Get content resolver will give you reference of the content resolver. See, return a content resolver instance for your applications package. Here they have defined that content resolver is for your application. So content resolver would be the per app. You would be having a separate instance of the content resolver. See, return the content resolver instance for your application package. Okay, what it does then? See, this class provides applications access to the content model, right? This class provides applications access to the content model, right? Means if you want to access the content provider, you should go with the content resolver like this. So I got the reference of the content resolver. Now can you see resolver dot query, what you want to do with the database, right? I want to fire the query, right? If you will see the query method, right, query method would be having these many parameters, right? The query method would be having these many parameters. See, right, query methods or query method is having these many parameters. See cursor, so it is going to return this. So I want to get this method. I am speaking about this first method URI, and this it would be needing these many things. See, okay, so it would be needing URI like this, right, is equals to null presently I can say. Then it would be needing projection, means the columns, number of columns you want to select, you can say presently null, right? Selection where clause, right? Selection is nothing but the where clause. Selection arguments means where name is equals to question mark, and question mark would be getting replaced exactly over here. And the sort order, you are going to sort by column ascending or descending. Okay, here first parameter would be the URI, right? Second parameter would be the projection, third parameter would be the selection, then selection arguments, then sort order like this. So you would be getting query, and query is going to return all the time cursor is equals to this, right? You are going to have cursor is equals to this. Simple. Now content resolver will communicate with the content provider, means this is one boundary. Remember that they said that you are in the boundary. This is one boundary, this is one app, and this is another app, right? Content resolver is per app. Remember that per app there is one content resolver. You are communicating with this content resolver, right? Okay, sorry, you are communicating, so this would be like this, so that would be coming under this, right? That would be coming under this, and it is communicating with this authority. So this would be the boundary of your application, and this is the boundary of the contact application. Remember that. Fine. So from the content resolver of your app, you are communicating with the authorities of another content provider. Fine. Now here URI plays very much important role, right? URI plays very much important role. See, contacts contract dot, if you can check, common data kinds dot content colon, or say phone dot content colon URI. So this is nothing but one URI, object of the class URI, and this is referring to the content URI, right? This is referring to the content URI. Means this, every content provider has its own authorities. You are trying to access this content provider. Throughout your phone there might be multiple content providers, but you are interested in this, whose the content provider whose URI is this. So I am passing the URI. Okay, now what you want to access? I want to access name, right? I want to access the name and the number. See, phone dot, this is the column now, phone dot display name, and I want to access, what you can say is that, number, phone dot number. I want to access these two things. So these simple are the column names of their SQLite thing, right? Okay, selection, no, I don't want to select anything, null directly. Means select star from, sort order is also null. I don't want to sort the data, right? So this thing is going to happen. Now query, it is going to return the cursor. Now you can iterate over the cursor while, right, cursor dot move to next, while cursor dot move to next. What we are going to do is that cursor dot move to next. Okay, what you are going to do, string, we are going to access the string name is equals to, right? We have seen the database cursor dot get string, right? Now see, 50 or more columns are there in the contact table. You cannot identify by the column number. You need to provide the name and get the index, right, of this, get the index of this column, right? This is the constant they have written. Again, string number is equals to cursor dot, what you can say, display name, or instead of this you can say number. So you got the name and number over here. For the safetyness, you can print it at code cool, right? You can say name plus name plus number plus number, right? This would be the thing. Now when you just call this method, you can say fetch contacts, you can see this thing, right? What you can see? You can see this data over here, right? But if I run the code right away, I'm going to get the error. I'm damn sure on that. right? Because you are using above marshmallow, permissions need to be managed manually. So by either programmatically or manually, right? You need to manage the permissions. We are going to see that thing in the separate tutorial. How you are going to manage the permissions by using the program, right? Or by using the code. Now presently this is running, right? It should show us some data over here, right? It should show us some data over here because we have created the logs. So Gradle is getting built. I'll come back once this Gradle build gets completed. Okay, now here is the output. Can you see I have created only one contact over here? Make sure that. So here is my app and I have created only one contact, which is nothing but the Android. Presently we are in the emulator and we have only one contact, which is nothing but what? Android. But make sure that if you are using the contact, right, if you are using the contact content provider in your app, or if you want to access the contact, you should have this permission, read contacts, right? Read contacts. If you are working above the marshmallow, on and above the marshmallow, right, you need to get this permission either manually. Can you see this thing? I have now permission. By default there would not be selected, right? Either you have to get this manually like this, or you are going to write the code for that, right? We are going to see how to manage these things, runtime permissions, via code. Remember that this would be needed. Now what it is doing is that just logging it. So instead of logging, right, I want to push it to the list view. What I want to do, I want to push this data to the list view. So what we are going to do is that, see here, let me create one array list. What you can say, array list of type string. I'm going to add data of type string. You can say contacts is equals to new contacts or new array list, and here I'm going to add that data contacts dot add, you can say name plus slash n plus number, name upon number. You can make it very much proper by using the card view. You can insert the cards, that's up to you. Okay, and then what you can do is that let's get the list view. Find view by id, r dot id dot list contacts, convert it to list view, typecast it to list view, right? Then set adapter, right? Set adapter and new array adapter. I am saying over here new array adapter. First parameter is a context, this. Second parameter is the layout, r dot android dot r dot layout dot simple underscore list underscore item underscore 1, and last parameter is nothing but your data, right? I have assigned inline the adapter to the list, right? Now let's hope this app will work. Okay, and you can see over here you might get one list, one row, one item over here, right? Can you see this android and this? So likewise, if you run this app in your phone, you can see all of the list over here, right? How you accessed? You have accessed using this content URI, which is very simple. If you know the content URI, you can access anything. Likewise, you can do recent calls, missed calls, your SMS. You might have observed that sometimes WhatsApp sends the OTP, right? And that OTP is going to be matched automatically. You don't need to type that OTP on your own. How? Because they are reading from the contact app, right? By using content providers, right? So there are use cases, multiple use cases of this thing. So here is a little bit demo that might be useful in your real-time projects. Okay, so this is how to access the built-in content provider, or if you know the content URI, how to access the content provider. Now my question is that how should I create, right, how should I create my own content provider? That's the question. How should I create my own content provider? We'll cover up this topic in the next tutorial, right? If you like our videos, kindly subscribe our channel on the Code Cool.